Next course was the role of the middle class. When we are starting to speak about middle class, what happened during that period was industrialization. Industrialization brought in the birth of a new or growth of a new middle class. What had happened during the industrialization was that until then people were producing manually. So the quantity of the produce was lower, so they could sell it in the locality. With the industrialization, the amount they produce increased, increased so much that they couldn't find enough buyers in the locality or in the region they were producing. So they couldn't sell all the produce. Then there comes a middleman who will come and buy from them and will sell to other people in other region or other countries. There are other traders. So overseas traders and merchants start to bloom in this period because of large produce and the less possibility of buyers in the locality, which led to the increase of people who are in the middle class, who are traders, overseas traders. So this was the reason of due to the industrialization. This middle class was formed by, as I said, overseas traders, then manufacturers of woolen silk textiles, because until then they were producing manually and the quantity was less. Now, due to industrialization, the amount what they produced increased, so they gave more money, they became rich. And then professionals such as lawyers, administrative officials, they were literate more, and then the literate ones were lawyers and administrative officials. They earn more money and they become richer. But remember, all these people belong to the third estate itself. They were wealthier than the other people in the third estate, but they were still in the third estate. They, as I said, 90% of the people was in third estate, but among them, this new group, new wealthy group of third estate, number was increasing because of these two reasons. The reasons, as I said, the industrialization and of course the improvement of education, because they were moving around, they were seeing other regions, they were getting more literate. So this middle class was improving, in increasing in number. Also, they had their own, as they were traders, they had their own grievances, as when they are moving produce from one place to the other, they were being taxed by each region, because each region had their own tax systems and each region were using different weights and measures. This all made their business a bit difficult. So they were not happy with the way the things are going. They wanted some changes to happen so that their business could be better. They could do the business easier. But they had no say in administration. They were in the third estate. They had no political power to maneuver the things or give some input in administration how to improve it. No, they had no say in administration. So they were not happy. Also, as I said, they were the people moving around, the traders and overseas traders and manufacturers, and the literate ones like lawyers and administrative officials. Since they are richer and literate and they travel around, they were inspired by the ideas of different philosophers of that time. Not only they were inspired by it, they start to spread it in small societies, small groups. So the ideas of different philosophers of that time was spread by this growing middle class, and they were unhappy with the way the system was going. And they used books also and newspapers as well to spread these ideas of um, new philosophy or the ideas of new philosophers. Some of the major ones to remember is, first one is John Locke. John Locke was arguing against the doctrine of divine and absolute right of monarch. During that time, it was propagated that the powers of a monarch is divine. It was given by God, and it is absolute. It cannot be changed. It should not be changed. This is God wants the society to be like this, and He appointed the monarch. That was a system of doctrine which was propagated at that time. And John Locke vehemently against it. He was arguing against it very, very strong. He was one of the known philosophers of that time. And second one is Rousseau. Rousseau is a person who brought in the idea of, let's say, representative government in France. Um, you can say Socrates and Plato or ancient Greek philosophers, they already brought in that idea. But in this current situation in France, Rousseau was proposing a form of government based on social contract. He said it's a social contract between the people and the elected and their elected representatives. So the country should be governed through that social contract. That was Rousseau's propagation. Rousseau argued for a government based on social contract between representatives and the people who elect them. It's a form of democracy. And the third notable philosopher of that time was Montesquieu. Montesquieu actually went further. He said the power should not be concentrated in one person or one group of people. It should be divided. It should be divided into three sections: into legislature, executive, and judiciary. Yeah, I know that you are familiar with the system because that's what we are using now. So remember, in 1789 or in late 18th century, Montesquieu said about the system, and that's what we are using in 21st century as well. So how far ahead or far reaching was his views? He was a philosopher of that time. So the ideas of these philosophers influenced the growing middle class very much, and they started to propagate it. They started to spread these ideas into the groups, into people. So take all the reasons together. People were the system of society was unjust, and people were not happy with it. The third estate was a majority, and they had no money, and they were struggling for their survival. And king decided to increase the tax to um, compensate for the extravagant expenses and the huge debt of the country. And the increasing richer people in the third estate and their problems and their unhappiness, and the influence of philosophers who argued for a representative government and a division of power. These all together led to the French Revolution. So we have studied, now we have looked into four major causes of French Revolution: social causes, economic causes, political causes, and role of the middle class. I hope you understood what had been explained, and I hope you understood how you are supposed to prepare the notes. I do recommend you to start to prepare the notes from now on. You can prepare the note as I explained. Write the triggering word which is on the screen, and then do explain it below it. I am not asking you to prepare notes, ask questions and answers. No, we are not going to follow that system. We are going to write notes on topic by topic. So now this topic is causes of French Revolution. Then you write first economic social causes, and then there will be 3 points, 3 triggering words. Each triggering word should have an explanation below it. Then you will write economic causes. There are 3 points, 3 triggering points. After each, below each triggering point, you will write explanation for each point. And then political causes the same, and role of the middle class the same. I hope you are clear with it. So work for this week is that you prepare your note as I said. You have to prepare your own notes as I explained. You have the triggering words in the screen, and explanation means the teaching note which I used for explanation on the right hand side. Use it, listen to the narration if you want more than once, and prepare your notes. Thank you very much, and see you in the next class. Have a good day.